Hello students, welcome to CIMS online classes, and this video is for class 6 chapter number 9 Living Organism and the Surroundings. In our first part we talked about living organisms and habitats. In habitats we talked about terrestrial habitat, aquatic habitats and aerial or arboreal habitats. Okay, so each by each we will be discussing the habitats in our second part. So let's start with terrestrial habitats. As we already discussed that in terrestrial habitats we have three or four types of habitats: desert habitat, mountain habitat and forest habitats. Even grassland habitats is also there, that means 4. So let's talk about one by one in a precise way. Okay, let's start with desert habitat. So we discussed the abiotic factors of a desert. We haven't discussed the abiotic factor of a desert, but we discussed about the what do you mean by abiotic factors and biotic factors. So desert is included in abiotic factors because it is land. So let's talk about desert animals. We will take example of camels first of all. Camels. Why camel is a good example of a desert habitat? Okay, if you look at a camel, we will see that it has a long legs. Why it has a long legs? That's because to avoid the heat during the day. That means the heat, the ground or the desert, the upper surface of the desert gets heated by sun, and the long hairs prevent the camel from being heated. But we have other animals also like rats, snakes. They don't have long hairs, long legs like camels, but also they are habitats of desert. And what are the features that help them to survive in that habitat? They don't have such a special feature, but they can dig a hole. As we all know, rats can dig a hole. Okay, that means burrows. We can see a picture here in the upper hand side. Okay, they built a burrow and they live in that because the lower surface is always cooler than the upper surface. So now we have talked about animals in a desert. We take camels also, we take rats or snakes also. Now let's have a look in a desert plant. As we already discussed that cactus is the peculiarity of desert plant. Okay, and obviously everyone knows that in desert there is no water. So how do cactus survive? Okay, desert plants lose very little water through transpiration. That means transpiration process of evaporating water from its body. Okay, so they have adapted themselves with certain features in their body. As for example, if we see a tree, we will see what we will see. We will see leaves. Okay, so in trees, from these leaves, water is transpirated. Water is transpirated. So more broader the leaves, more transpiration occurs. So in this sense, if you observe a cactus, they don't have leaves, so less transpiration, and in spite of leaves they have spines. What they have spines, and that helps them from other animals. That means herbivorous animals, they can't eat due to spines. And photosynthesis also doesn't take place from the leaves, So it takes place from the stem of a cactus plant. Okay. So this was all about desert habitat. We took the example of animals and we took the example of plants. Okay, that means there are few peculiarities, few body structures that help them to adapt themselves in such a condition. Okay, so let's move to our next part of terrestrial habitat, that is mountain habitat or mountain region. Okay, so these habitats are not normally very cold and windy. Mountain regions are very much cold and windy. That's due to the altitudes. Okay, that means above the sea level. Okay, so in some areas snowfall may also take place during winters. So in this condition there must be some characteristics or some physical features that plants and animals have to survive. So let's talk about these things. So let's talk about plants first of all. Okay, let's talk about plants. In plants, actually mountain regions are not so vegetative. That means in mountain region the vegetation is very much little due to lack of soil and other minerals, but there are trees that adapt themselves, that can adapt in mountain region also. And the peculiarities are, just see, trees are normally cone shaped and have sloping branches. Cone shape means, what do you mean a cone shape? Cone shape means like a cone, right? Like a cone, like this. Okay, I made it in an opposite way, but like a cone. Have you eaten an ice cream from a cone? Yeah, the shape of cone is like that only. Okay, cone means it is sloping actually. So forget that. So they have the branches are of cone shape. Okay, the leaves are cone shaped and the branches are sloping means like this, as already told here, this way. Okay, that is why, what is the reason that the branches are like a cone? Okay, so the reason behind that is due to rainfall and snowfall. That means due to the sloping branches, the rain water and the snowfall, they slide down from the trees, and that help them to transpire. That means to breathe. Actually plant also breathe through transpiration. They also have some metabolism inside the trunk. Okay, so these are the reason that trees in mountain areas, trees have sloping branches and the leaves are needle like, means ekdam like a needle. Okay, like a needle. So we have talked about plants. Let's move towards the animals. Okay, so in mountains most of the animals we find they have a thick skin of fur. Fur means bal, fur means hair, thick hair. Okay, why they have thick hair? So that the body can be protected from cold and other harsh condition. For example, yak have long hair to keep themselves warm. Even the dogs in the hill regions, they have thick fur as compared to plains, because in plains the climate is much more warmer than the mountain region. So we can take example of yak, we can take example of snow leopards also. We can take examples of polar bear also. There are many examples which shows that mountain animals, they have thick hair, or we can call fur. Okay, we talked about snow leopards, polar bears and yaks. Thick hairs. Apart from hairs, their feet also are adapted in such a way that they can survive in mountain region. Let's have a look at a mountain goat. Mountain goats, their physical features. Okay. The mountain goats have strong hooves for running up the rocky slopes of the mountains. Why rocky? Why mountains have rocky slopes? As I already told, being a mountain, they don't have soil. They lack in soil. And being that, they lack in vegetation also. So they have rocky slopes. Okay. And in running or walking in these slopes, they require special organized foot. Okay. So they have strong hooves. Strong hooves means the lower part of a feet. हम लोग उसको तलवा, what is called? Tarwa. Okay, we call it tarwa in Hindi, in vernacular language. Okay. So this helps them to move in rocky mountains, rocky slopes. So there are various other peculiarities, various other body features. Okay, but we have only taken few examples of that. Okay, even the color, if you see a polar bear or if you see a snow leopard, the color is white. This fur of the skin color is white. Why white? So they can merge with the snow, the condition of the atmosphere, and hunt their prey. Okay. Okay. So that was all about our mountain habitat. So now let's move towards grassland. As already told, grassland mostly comprises of long grasses. Long grasses. Few examples are savanna. Okay, means grassland, savanna grassland. It's in Europe. Okay, so these grasslands have long grasses and less trees. They don't have trees, but the grass are much more taller. That means it can be about 6 foot to 10 foot. 6 foot to 10 foot. So that wild animals or other animals can hide. Okay, let's discuss about this in a more easier way. Okay, a lion lives in a forest. Forest is another. Mostly tiger and lion lives in a grassland. Okay, why they live in the grassland? Because their body structure are made in such a way that they can survive there. Okay, and they are good hunters. As we all know, lion and tiger are good hunters. Okay, so their body, the body structures. Have you seen a tiger? Tiger have stripes in their body. That means what is that stripes called in Hindi? Whatsoever the stripes, that means it's a longitudinal stripes. Okay, so that stripes helps them to merge with the grass, help them to merge with grass during hunting or during a hunt. Okay, during hunt. Okay, the color and the body skin have some features that helps them to hunt for their prey. So again, lions have long claws, even tigers also have, in their front legs that can be withdrawn inside the toes. Withdrawn means they can pull the claws, okay. So this was the peculiarities of means color body structure of tiger and lion. And as I already told that the stripes and the color of a tiger and lion helps them to hide in the grassland and hunts the prey, okay. And they have a very sharp eye also, and they can see through the grasses, okay. And same is with the predator also, prey also, that means deer. As I already told, lion and tiger, they hunt deer. Deer is a herbivorous animals, and deer, why we have taken deer? Again, deer have spots on their body that help them to merge in a grass, okay. And there are plenty of grass, so they have sufficient food also, okay. So it has a strong teeth for chewing hard plant stem of the forest. The deer needs to know about the presence of predators in order to run away from them and not become their prey. They has long ears to hear movements of predators, okay. That means they have long ears, that means kan, that help them to know the presence of lion and tigers. Even they have long legs so that they can run. So they have long ears and long legs. Long ears to know which animal is going to hunt them, and long legs to run from them. And as I already told you that grassland have plenty of vegetation, so food is also available there, okay. So there are many other features of other animals also that help them to survive in these types of condition, that means desert condition, then mountain condition or habitat, and grassland habitat. But we have only taken a few examples, okay. So that was all in part 2. In our next class we will talk about aquatic habitats. Thank you.